Yokoso! Welcome to the digital series of NextGen Geijutsuka. This series celebrates the next generation of talented artists who practice a variety of Japanese cultural arts, have made them their own, and play an important role in sharing the beauty of these art forms with the wider world. For our fourth Geijutsuka this week, we have koto musician Brian Mitsuhiro Wong. Welcome, Brian. Brian represents the third generation in an impressive family lineage of koto musicians. At the age of 4, he learned to play koto from his mother, the fabulous woman behind the series, Shirley Kazuyo Muramoto. And Shirley, in turn, was taught by her mother, who learned to play the koto as a little girl at the Topaz and Tule Lake concentration camps during World War II. In 2003, Brian also began studying with Master Kazue Sawai at the Sawai Soukyokuin Koto Conservatory in Tokyo, Japan. In 2006, he passed his teaching exams with flying colors, winning the Grand Prix Award, placing first out of 25 other students. Since then, he's gone on to play with his koto masters in concert, write many of his own original koto compositions, and record albums. Many of those are influenced by years of his playing jazz saxophone as well. And last December, he became only the second performer outside of Japan to qualify to compete in the prestigious NextGen Koto Competition in Kurume, Japan. Guess who was the first? It was Shirley, his mom. So Shirley says that's a sign that the traditionalists of traditional arts are becoming more open minded about non native players outside of Japan taking on the cultural arts, which is critical to its survival. And we're so glad that Brian is here today with us. He's extremely accomplished, as you can see, and a treat to listen to. So without further ado, here he is playing the first scene of Jokei Sansho, or three scenes, composed by Sawai Tadao. It conjures the wind blowing to and fro and is titled Uneri. Amazing. That was beautiful, Brian. Thank you so much for sharing that first piece and for being here with us tonight. I'd love to ask you who taught you that piece and how long does it take to learn a piece like Unedi?
Hmm. I'm not exactly sure who gave that piece to me. It might have been Shoko Hikage, who's sort of my senpai in the Sawai school. I think she gave it to me years ago, but I probably just didn't look at it until sometime last December. And then I decided to start learning that piece. And I took a lesson from Hikaru Sawai, who's the son of Tadao Sawai, the composer of the piece. And he gave me some tips on it. And then I just worked on it every day, as many times as I could. Sometimes just one time, sometimes multiple times a day, and just worked on it for about 5 months, 6 months, and yeah, eventually memorized it, and then can just play and have fun with it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yes, it's so much finger work, fast finger work, and takes a lot of time and dedication. And in terms of the piece, with each piece, how do you sort of convey the composer's intention, specifically on the koto?
I think it just takes a little while to start to understand what the composer is meaning. First time you look at it, it's just like looking at like a piece of art or like a picture, and then trying to describe certain features of it, like how how things are expressed in time, like how loud or how soft or how aggressive the playing should be, or whether there should be accentuations of certain things, and or things should have like a different pull and push and pull of time. So it takes a little while to learn what those uh, feelings are and how to express them in myself and in my own playing. Uh, I not a set amount of time, but it just occurs with some practice. Yeah.
Absolutely. Practice is key. And in terms of time, you are the third generation of koto players in your family, which is incredible. Your grandmother, then your mother, and now you. What was it like to learn koto? You started at the age of 4, but you told me it felt like you were playing since you were in the womb. What was it like to learn from your mother Shirley, and how do you think you've developed your own individual style as a koto player?
Well, I think in our household, my grandmother would say like even her great grandmother, she didn't play an instrument, but they would always be singing when they were washing dishes or going about the day. So I think music has just always been in our family, just something that we did to pass the time, to make ourselves feel good, or just to just sing out the blues or something like that. And just being in that type of environment made it feel very natural just to learn how to sing or play an instrument, to learn how to dance, things like that, be theatrical. So it's always been there for me, especially koto instrument. I started playing when I was about 4 years old, so I it was very sometimes didn't always enjoy it, because sometimes it's like, oh, and now I want you to practice, and it was sort of like you kind of have to do this thing, and it's like, oh, I'd rather do other things like play video games or go outside and play baseball. But I I kind of has have stuck with it over the years, and it's come to become something that I enjoyed over time. As the more time I put into it, the more I got out of it too. So I've always felt like the arts and being learning new things, being creative is just a very big part of the human experience, and what connects us as people is just how we grow and things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've loved getting so much of that spirit from this series. And in terms of your individual style, you also play the jazz saxophone. How would you compare, you know, the styles of jazz and Western music to the Japanese music that you've learned? What are some of the similarities, but also some of the differences, but also similarities that you found?
I feel like pieces when they start out, people don't really know what they're going to become. I mean, maybe they start out with a few lines of a poem, or you know, something inspires them, but it takes them a little while to flesh out what a song is gonna be or how the form is. Some repetition, some just free form, playing around, brainstorming type of thing. Um, I think with my own style, I kind of like doing that. Sometimes just free form, and then gradually things become a little bit more organized, and it can write something down that sort of makes some type of like logical sense, or um, something that can communicate something to somebody else. Um, so I'm always thinking of things in terms of just being able to uh, um, create new ways of expressing things for myself, or learning new things, and hopefully, those things that I do become interesting to other people as well, not just to myself. I never know
I
how
think
that's gonna
I think they are.
go.
Absolutely. We do have one Facebook Live question that asks, do pieces tend to be traditional, or are new pieces frequently composed? And maybe that means generally with koto musicians, or you can answer that. And also to you, what pieces do you usually tend to play?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like half and half. So it's like some of the pieces are, part of the tradition, part of the culture, the history of Japanese arts, or they're inherited from other cultures, that the composer becomes inspired, or and they maybe try to aspire to doing something similar. Like my grandfather was interested in tango music, so my mom
Ooh.
did Liber Tango. Um, Later on, I'll be doing a jazz number, which is influenced by my playing jazz and blues and things like that. So yeah, I think we have to do new things to keep things fresh, to keep things from becoming too predictable, and too much of a pattern, so that we continue to be interested in what's going on. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think with every generation of your family, there's been something new brought to the table, which is so cool. And on that note, let's go to your second performance, where you're actually joined by a special guest, Nao Yamashita, another very talented koto player based in Kobe, Japan. So here is Akogare, or The Yearning, another composition by Sawai Tadao, which will take you on a journey. Enjoy.
Asakichi Japanese Antiques and Art Store in San Francisco is the oldest store in the Japan Center, established over 40 years ago from 1978, and we hope they will be able to stay in business for many more years. Asakichi carries very beautiful ceramics, antique kimonos, and an assortment of fresh green teas from Kyoto. We specialize in unique seasonal teas, teas for tea ceremonies, and as a nice daily beverage because tea is also good for your health. Asa's kimono shop, Shige Kimono, on the bridge at San Francisco Japan Center, will be closed as of August. Afterwards, the kimonos will be available at the main shop at Asakichi on Post Street. Asa still has 3 shops open in Japantown: Asakichi Incense Store, Asakichi Cast Iron Teapot and Bronze Shop, and Asakichi Antiques Arts and Tea Ceremony Store. We hope you will help support and patronize the shops and businesses of Japantown so we can keep this cultural spirit and feeling of Japan alive here in San Francisco. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Welcome to San Jose Japantown and Nikkei Traditions. We're located in the heart of San Jose Japantown on Jackson Street between the Manju Shop and Kogura Company. We're one of the few retailers that sell the well-known Christie's Hawaiian cookies, and we also sell music CDs including jazz musicians Hiroshima and Shirley Muramoto's Murasaki Ensemble and Kyle Abbott's shamisen music. We also carry DVDs such as Norm Minetta's and His Legacy, An American Story, and Shirley Muramoto's Hidden Legacies about the performing arts in the incarceration camps.
We opened our store in November 2001, nearly 19 years ago. Our theme is contemporary Japanese American and Asian American arts, crafts, and gifts. Over the years, we have represented nearly 700 vendors who make and design products that express Asian culture and heritage in a unique and modern way. We also carry products from Hawaii, which adds a multicultural dimension to our store. We sell a wide assortment of Asian-inspired clothing, children's books, gift items such as eco products like reusable bags and chopsticks.
We want you to be safe and have for your use in our store hand sanitizers and plastic gloves. Masks are required at all times in the store. We sell a large variety of cloth masks with contemporary Asian themes. Due to COVID-19, we are open on a limited basis. Please check our Facebook page and website for store updates and product information.
Asakichi and Nikkei Traditions have such beautiful items and are staples of our Bay Area Japantowns. As always, we ask you to please consider supporting these shops and their owners. They're great places for gifts, for brightening up homes that we're all spending a lot more time in. And now, to conclude our program, we are lucky to present a final performance featuring Brian on Jazz Koto. And Brian, would you like to introduce us to the song that you'll be playing?
Sure. So I feel like this piece is it's good for concluding our show, and it always reminds me of things wrapping up at the end. It's a Herbie Mann blues tune called "Coming Home Baby," and it always makes me think, hey, it's done, time to come home, baby.
Bringing it home. All right, here it is. Enjoy Brian's final piece, "Coming Home Baby." I love the trills in in that song, or waterfalls, or what do you call them?
Glissandos or
Yeah,
harp
the
strings.
correct musical term. Clearly, my high school band education has failed me. Glissandos. That was so awesome. Thank you so much for all of your performances tonight. And we'd love to give you a chance to give a shout out to your friends and family.
Okay. Ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you everybody for listening. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed it. And we'll continue and listen to our tune in next week for our Buyo dancer, Odori dancer Hirohichiro Bando. It'll be really exciting with his cohort now.
Bando now, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, you're so good. Your mom would be proud doing next week's show plug. Well, yes, I can't believe we only have one episode left. This is that's it for our fourth presentation of NextGen Geijutsuka. And there's just one left next week. That's Tuesday, July 28th at 8 p.m. Pacific time, as Brian said, featuring the exquisite classical dancing of Bando Hirohichiro and his special guest Bando Nao from Japan. So yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And thank you again to SF Japantown Foundation and Berkeley Japanese American Citizens League for making this series possible. We want to make sure that for those of you who have not yet joined or submitted videos for our final episode's virtual Obon dance, please do so. We want to see everybody dancing. There are instructions and everything you need to know on nextgenjca.com. And you have until tomorrow, Wednesday, July 22nd, 10 p.m. Pacific time, very specific, to submit your videos to make sure that they're included for our grand finale. We'd love to see you participate. Thank you everyone again for joining us tonight. It's always so fast, but so fun. We'll see you next week. Matane.